paper, scissors, rock. Ooh, paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock. Oh!
3, 2, 1. Oh, God.
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Matt.
What are we driving today?
Oh, it's a Mercedes EQE 350.
Oh, the EQE 350, huh?
You know, I didn't really have any expectations going into this review. Thinking about this car, I haven't really given much thought to the EQE 350, but I'm kind of surprised I haven't, because driving this thing around, like, I really get it.
You've been sleeping on it.
I've been really sleeping on it. When you drive this thing with its air suspension and its amazingly tuned Burmester sound system, you just kind of forget about the world and you think, huh, that's a pretty good car.
Yeah, maybe my life is all right after all.
Today we're going to take you for a tour of the new Mercedes-Benz EQE, specifically this one being the 350. It ain't cheap though, Jacob.
No, it ain't.
It will set you back about 155,000 Australian dollars before on-road costs. So yes, you are buying a luxury car, but I'll be totally honest with you guys in saying that it feels pretty much its price.
100% agree.
It's a really nice car, and you'll think so, I'm sure, by the end of this video as well. We'll take you for an exterior tour of the Mercedes-Benz EQE 350. We'll check out its practicality and also its luxurious interior. And then we're gonna drive this thing because it provides some of the best driving dynamics, or at least the most comfort-tuned driving dynamics I've ever felt in my goddamn life. Then we're gonna drive this and we're gonna get lots of sauce, see just how good or bad it is driving around the twisties. We're not gonna launch it though, just because of insurance reasons. Oh. But we will give you our final thoughts on this thing and whether or not you should buy a Mercedes-Benz EQE 350. Jacob?
Let's do this.
Oh, let's do this. Okay, let's talk about the exterior looks of the EQE 350. I'm not gonna lie to you, man, in photos, I thought that this thing frankly looked pretty ugly.
Yeah, you know what? It looks better in person.
It looks so good. I love this flat grey paint as well. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool new color.
Very
and it just
cool.
looks so aero.
It looks so aero. Let's talk about that. So you have your headlights here with these cool daytime running lights. It's also your turning signals. These are called digital lights, which are projector LEDs, so they're quite bright. You have a very cool grille here because this Mercedes badge here is your radar cruise control. And then you have a bunch of little Mercedes 3-point stars. And then you've got another 3-point star there.
Just in case you forgot what brand you bought.
No one is going to forget that you are driving a Mercedes-Benz. And by the way, if you want to learn more about this car, we do have a full written article about it in our website, CarSauce.com. Make sure you check that out after this. And then you've got a bit going on down here with the bumper, but it actually looks super duper elegant. I think it looks pretty awesome.
I think it looks really nice from the front.
One thing to note though is that there is no frunk or front trunk. You can't even lift the bonnet. Instead, if you want to fill up your washer fluid, you have a little area here to do so. It just seems a bit strange. I wonder what secrets they're hiding under there, Jacob. Okay, now coming to the side of the Mercedes-Benz EQE, you're gonna see these are 21-inch wheels here. They do look really, really cool, but they're gonna be a pain in the bum to clean, no doubt. As you heard, this does have air suspension. That's a $3,800 option, and you would be nuts not to get it, and you'll see why when we take this thing for a drive. EQE badge there. You've also got a 360 camera there. As I said, you have pop-out door handles here that feel so nice.
Dude, it's just, Mercedes door handles are just quality, I've realized.
They've got like some sort of feedback in there that makes it so solid, really cool. You have very tinted privacy glass there, and of course you have frameless windows for every single door, so in a way, this is a coupe, and it definitely looks very swoopy coupy from there.
Just look at that ducktail spoiler, bro.
Oh, well, let's come to that. You'll also see your EV charge port there. This thing does, of course, have DC fast charging up to 170 kilowatts, which is pretty fast.
That's pretty damn quick.
Not quite 350 that you'll find in Hyundai and Kia products, but that's still pretty good. Jacob, let's check out the bum.
Let's do it.
And then coming to the bum, man, and this is my favorite angle.
Dude, it looks so sleek.
It looks so nice. I love the ducktail spoiler. It's huge. You have these pretty cool LED lights with a ribbon effect. It's actually a giant LED light bar. You got the 4MATIC badge there because this thing does have a front and rear motor, which is the key differentiator between that and the 300, which is rear wheel drive only. You've got the EQE 350 badge there. This is your Mercedes badge, but it's also your boot release and your reverse camera. So, well, yeah, quite a lot going on in there. Close. And down the bottom, you get a pretty cool diffuser there as well. And you're just gonna see like how dark the tinting on this glass is. Probably a good thing because there's a lot of glass. It can get quite warm on the inside, especially on like a hot day like today. Jacob, should we check out the Practicality?
Let's do it.
And then coming to the boot space, you press the little Mercedes logo, it pops up with an automatic tailgate. You get a stupid amount of room on the inside. Like it's genuinely so impressive. You do have a little bit of underfloor storage as well, although that's where your tire inflation kit lives, which is never the best solution if you get a flat tire. You can drop the rear seats just by pressing these buttons here. They fall forward and then you get just a silly amount of room. It's a genuinely, oh, I almost did it manually, a genuinely impressive Practicality space.
Yeah, I think you don't even need a frunk, to be honest.
No, you don't. Jacob, let's check out the interior.
Let's do it.
Okay, so coming now into the interior of the Mercedes EQE 350. What a nice place to be.
Whoa, that was really loud.
It's a really loud horn. Yeah, German cars have very loud horns. Okay, let's talk about quality in here. So, soft touch materials absolutely everywhere. Exactly what you want, because this has to be one of the quietest cars on the road.
Genuinely.
Yeah, you sit in here and you just forget about the outside world. It's really impressive. It's also got a bit of a minimalism vibe going on. So there's no hyper screen here, and I'm kind of glad that it doesn't have it. Instead, you get this wood finish here, which feels really nice, and then Alcantara below it. It feels very sturdy, and it just feels well done.
I agree. It's not over the top design. It's just tasteful.
Tasteful. This infotainment display is seriously one of the best out there. It's so responsive. They've really improved this over the years. You have an EQ mode here where you can see a bunch of different things like your range and charging, consumption, things like that. You've also got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it is a huge implementation of it. So you really get a great display here. Frankly, it's better than what you'd find in like a BMW.
I completely agree. Yeah.
The annoying thing is that the air conditioning controls are within the screen, but it's not a huge deal. And I love how the ambient lighting makes a little dance when you change things like the temperature or change drive modes. It's pretty damn cool.
Things like that really add to the feeling of the car, and also the haptic feedback on the screen as well.
Yeah, really, really good. You've got this touch capacitive area down here, which usually I actually hate, but it seems to be a good implementation of it. Much better than Volkswagen systems, and it just works. So I really can't complain too much about it, and it's still buttons, you know? Other things like the steering wheel, it feels so nice in the hand. This is a Napa leather steering wheel. You've also got buttons to control everything. In fact, you've got 4 spokes here. Top right lets you control your digital instrument cluster, which does show a bunch of different information. You can also change the display to a lot of different views. It's very cool. On the left-hand side, you have controls for the screen if you don't want to use it as a touch screen. And then bottom right is your cruise control settings. This thing will essentially drive itself down a highway. It's quite impressive.
It's got really good lane centering. But am I the only one that has trouble getting the steering wheel to a good position where I can see the digital instrument cluster?
Interesting. Let us know what you think down in the comment section just below that like button. Also, Jake, you know what I haven't done for a long time?
What?
Subscribe.
You haven't subscribed?
No, like please subscribe.
Ah, others should subscribe.
Yeah, of course, I've subscribed with all of my 70,000 accounts. Other very tech-focused things here, you have your seating position controls, and it doesn't move anymore. It is simply touch capacitive. Actually works really well. You can adjust these seats in a million different ways. By the way, these seats, super duper comfortable, great leather. They have heating, no cooling as far as I can tell anyway, right? They are perforated, but no cooling.
Bit surprising there.
A little bit surprising, unless I'm wrong and I can't find it. I don't love all of this black plastic here because it just smudges so easily. But if you pull that away, you have pretty good storage in here. You've got a wireless charger there, a couple of hidden cup holders, and 2 USB-C ports with a little storage area to the left as well. So that's all very good. You have a nice soft center console. Open that up. You actually get heaps of storage within there. Didn't mention this. Heaps more storage here with a little strap.
Ooh.
And 2 USB-C ports. That's a lot of I/O. Also, you press a button here. Oh, the glove box nicely folds down, very felt lined. It's actually got quite a lot of storage in there as well. So it's a very practical car. Other things too, the sunroof. You get a double sunroof.
That's a really nice, I think it's really necessary in the back, as we'll see.
Yeah, you'll see that. But yeah, very, very nice. And of course, how could I forget to mention, Jacob, you get your turbine style air conditioning vents. By the way, the whole car lights up, like really lights up. It's pretty insane.
It's like a bloody light show in here.
It really is. It definitely wows you. But I really like the simplicity of the interior. It doesn't feel like there's so many buttons and switches and knobs. Everything just feels right. And Jacob, how could I forget? You get a Burmester sound system, which sounds really good. And you know that it's going to sound really good because they've done things like angle some of the tweeters at the windows, which is a pretty common tactic to be able to get better acoustics. So they've clearly paid attention, and this thing has definitely been audio tested and tuned because it's awesome in here. Let's check out the back seats.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, friend. Back seats, what's it like? Well, it's pretty phenomenal.
Dude, there's so much room in the back.
There's so much room. You see, this thing actually has a longer wheelbase than a Mercedes E-Class. You get heaps of legroom, heaps of toe room. Headroom is also really good despite the sloping roof line at 5'11" anyway, because of the cutouts in the roof. But even without it, I would be totally fine. Other thing as well, soft bloody seats, Jacob. They feel so goddamn nice. Pull this down. Oh, nice soft leather. Boop. You get a little phone holder there. Do a little half press. And you get a couple of cup holders here. Some more things. You get some air vents here. Some USB-C ports hidden within the center console thing, which is, I guess, cool. Probably a bit unnecessary, but hey.
You get them.
Why not? Thankfully, the materials in the back feel as nice as up front, including the metal speaker grille, and you get some storage there too. Overall, it's a really, really nice place to be. The important thing to mention as well is that even though the battery is in the floor, oftentimes that can raise up the floor and you get a bad seating position in the rear. My legs are actually at a pretty good angle. They're definitely well supported by these seats, so I wouldn't have complaints sitting back here for a longer drive.
Let's drive the thing.
Let's drive it. Alrighty, friend, driving the EQE 350.
Hell yeah, we are.
Wow, when there's no engine, you really hear these terrible little pebbles whacking the underbody of this car.
It fills me with joy.
Let's talk about one of the coolest things about this car.
Do you feel like Aladdin right now, bro?
I do feel like Aladdin. Like I'm on a magic carpet ride because we have the air suspension. I've heard a lot over... Can you hold my hand? I've heard a lot over the years.
A lot of air.
About the Mercedes-Benz air suspension. I've heard a lot of good things. I've never really understood the hype until now.
You're just a skeptic.
But this is surprisingly extremely comfortable. Even on these, like, this is a terrible road, guys. Saucy Gravel Road is one of Australia's worst roads.
I would say it's probably top 50 in worst roads of Australia.
This is a little gross.
A lot of dust.
When the sunlight hits this directly, it doesn't look that
I
bright.
apologize for my dead skin cells.
Let's go to dynamic, put the car into sport mode, indicate like good little boys.
I'm scared.
Are you
I'm
ready?
really scared. Oh, I love EVs.
Oh man. Woo! Wow, it's like a plasma screen TV up in front of you with that heads-up display. Jeez.
Excuse me, plasmas are outdated. That's an OLED.
It's an OLED screen. All right, let's talk about how this thing drives. We're in sport mode right now. The air suspension is in sport mode. It's still extremely comfortable.
I can't feel anything except joy.
Let's talk about the power output. So we are driving the 350. That means we get 211 kilowatt of power.
Excuse me, 215 kilowatt power.
God, what's the torque?
765 Newton meters.
Oh yeah. There's definitely a little sound that plays, like a little whoosh. It's not like part of the throttle. It's just like, oh, whoosh. I can't get over how comfortable this thing is, man. I just cannot get over it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb already and say this is one of the nicest riding cars I've ever been in.
Totally agree.
Like, bar none. Oh. EV cheat code.
Look, you still get a bit more body roll than I would probably expect for a 2.4 or 5 ton vehicle.
Yeah.
Especially considering it's an EV, just because the center of gravity is really low. I would 100% take those driving dynamics for the comfort of this car.
Oh, 100%.
I
Yeah.
can't believe we're in sport mode right now.
Yeah, look, it's definitely doesn't feel like, you know, a classic sport mode that you get in the BMW or something, right? Where you can feel everything.
That little whoosh sound is so strange.
Oh,
The
so nice.
other thing is that you kind of do notice that lack of power at 215 kilowatt, which sounds like a lot, but when you've got a car that weighs almost 3 tons, not quite, but still like closer to 3 tons than 2, you can definitely feel the lack of power at higher speeds. However, the torque, the instant torque makes up for that.
It's so nice.
Instantly. The steering wheel, by the way, is quite heavy in sport mode.
It's a really chunky steering wheel, isn't it?
It's so nice to hold in the hands, man. Oh,
I love it.
I could stroke this steering wheel all day. All right, we're going through some twisties here, friend. Obviously giving it some twisty sauce.
Look, it's definitely not the most sporty drive.
No.
We can't kid ourselves, all right?
No.
But goddamn, I feel
That's pretty
comfortable.
good though. That is very good.
Yeah.
The speeds I'm going. Legal, of course. Oh, that torque,
Oh,
man.
man.
Dude, this thing like shifts.
It really needs that torque though, because you can feel how heavy this car is as it goes around
This
the
is
corner.
foot flat.
Oh.
It's not that fast, but it's still like fast, if that makes sense.
But I tell you what though,
It's torquey as all hell.
if you want fast, get the EQE 53.
That's true.
That thing is like, has double the power, 200 Newton meters more torque.
All right, before we go up Saucy Corner, let's change these to some cooler dials.
Ooh, put it in sport mode.
All right, bro. Are we gonna go up Saucy Corner? Fist me.
We don't do
Tickle
that.
me. You hear the air suspension?
Here, I did it. Oh.
Mamma mia.
Oh my God,
That is some,
pizzeria.
that is some torque. Wow, the all-wheel drive of this system.
Oh my God, please,
We have a
please,
front and
please.
rear motor. Holy moly. Holy
Okay.
moly. That went around there very well.
Oh my
All right,
God.
second hairpin. Oh,
Oh, there you go. That's where you feel the weight. But you know what? It's still handled so well. That was reminiscent of the GLC that we did.
yeah. Surprised
Yeah.
us because it had a bit of body roll before, but then you got up those corners and you're like, actually, this is dynamically very good. The last thing to mention, friend, which I can't believe I
Probably the
haven't
most
mentioned.
important thing.
Yeah, it's very important. This compared to a 300, the 350 gets all-wheel drive
Yeah.
and therefore a bit more power and torque because you've got a motor on the front and the rear, whereas the 300 just on the rear.
So you'd probably get better weight distribution as well in this one.
Maybe. I don't know if that's how it works. Actually, that's true.
It probably is true, but we'll have to review the 300 to find out.
The other thing, friend, is fuel consumption or energy consumption, rightly in an EV. It's not the best. Let's go back to our little classic. 24.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. It's not terrible for a luxury EV, but it's definitely not great. And that means
Yeah.
that the real world range is probably closer to like 350,
I would say, yeah, just under 400.
just
Yeah.
under 400.
Yeah.
Not the worst, not the best.
No, it's a little, like, when you're doing this kind of driving out in the country, it's a little anxiety inducing, but around town it's completely fine.
All right, let's get into our final thoughts.
Okay, so final thoughts on the Mercedes-Benz EQE 350. Look, personally, I think you should probably just go for the 300, get the rear-wheel drive, get almost as good performance, and get more range for $20,000 less. But regardless of which one you go for, I actually think you get a lot. This thing definitely feels very, very luxury. And even though you are paying a pretty high price point for it, I could almost argue that it does feel that price point.
I think I agree, you know? It is such a comfortable ride. It's got so many features on the interior, so much tech, it's amazing.